You're watching This Is a Point here on AM Live. This morning I'm holding court with David Makali, who's the head of content, the Star and the Radio Africa Group. Also with us this morning is Richard Onyonka, who is a member of parliament from Kitutu, Chache South. Also we do have with us Isaac Mwaura, who is the nominated senator. And we do have with us as well Farah Maalim, who is joining us. He is the deputy leader of the Wiper Party. Right, as we promised our viewers when we circled back, David we want to circle back with you on the issue of now Senator Gideon Moi being, of course, people saying that Deputy President William Ruto has been incensed because there are rumors, of course, that President Uhuru Kenyatta might also get some of his allies from Kanu also to join the cabinet as well. How do you see this panning out, especially with the two?
Well, I think that the Deputy President, has to prepare for real combat with Gideon, because he has set his sights on 2022, and I think he wants more than just being senator. And I think this being his second term as a senator, he has to look what else he's going to do after this term expires, 2022. But we also know that he has expressed intention to contest for the country's presidency, which I think the whole relationship between the former president, Daniel Arap Moi, and the current president, Uhuru Kenyatta, there seems to be conversations which have gone on. You'd remember before the election and the negotiations for Kanu to support Uhuru in the election. Things must have exchanged, some promises must have exchanged hands. And I think what is going to happen is that Gideon is going to get his pound of flesh, if I may call it that, from this administration. And it will be whether, I think, the Deputy President likes it or not, because it's a debt that Uhuru owes the Senator Gideon Moi and Kanu and the former president. So it's going to happen. And I see, as I said, Gideon getting 2 or 3 ministries, or his nominees being appointed to 2 or 3 ministries. Things are going to be a bit different in this time round, unlike the first administration that was set up between URP and TNA. And I think the determination by the president to set up a cabinet which reflects his wish and to have a freer hand this time compared to the first administration is clear. And that is apparent in some of the goings on behind the scenes, which are infuriating, the DP and his people, and feeling like they're not getting exactly the treatment they had previously, despite the deputy president having contributed in a big way to the election of the Jubilee administration. I think, the way we get it is that the first opportunity that the president has this time is to appoint his people. And then secondly, to consider William Ruto's people. And that precedence and that priority hierarchy is going to persist in the administration, in the appointment of this cabinet.
Right. So do you think also the president is caught on the horn of dilemma right now? Because, yes, he wants to make good of his promise to William Ruto. And at the same time, of course, there is history that also he has to respect, from his father and Daniel Arap Moi. And of course, we saw even during the inauguration that Gideon Moi was given some sort of, a good welcome in the State House, and he was given a role there. We don't really understand what role was that as well.
Well, the politics that goes on behind the scenes, as I said, there are debts to be paid. And 2, there is a determination by Gideon to take a better and more visible, prominent role going forward. And you're not going to wait until later. This is going to be struck right away. There are things that the president will keep to himself, or ministries, or certain key aspects of this administration that he'll have to reserve for himself and for his people, whether there are allies who supported him or not. And there are people he's going to reward and confer privilege on because they gave him support in the last election, and it was instrumental. I mean, if you imagine, supposing Kanu had taken a different direction and supported NASA, it would have, and then added on to Isaac Ruto, for example, Chama Mashinani, it would have dented a bit of the Rift Valley support base they got. So clearly, I mean, the president and the Jubilee and even William Ruto, I think, owes some gratitude to Gideon and Kanu. And that has to be reflected in a certain way. Whether it will be so big as to cause trouble to William, the deputy president, is a different story. But I think it's in interest to make sure that Gideon's influence does not keep rising, because going forward, 2023 is going to be an open game for everybody.
All right.
And Gideon has quite a head start together with the deputy president in terms of a candidate coming from the Rift Valley or the Kalenjin community in totality.
All right. Let's hear from Richard, where we can see as well the appointment of Yatani, I should say, Uhuru
Yes.
Yatani. Of course, he failed during the Marsabit campaign as a governor as well. But we understand also Ruto was campaigning against Uhuru Yatani. And now the president is appointing him. Don't you see also this is sort of driving a rift, and we can see a crack in the fissure also between Deputy President and President Uhuru Kenyatta?
I think the way I look at it, Uhuru Yatani's appointment to the cabinet basically is based on the fact that I think the president was looking at the possibility of bringing in the northern Kenya community in terms of, because Uhuru Yatani comes from Marsabit, and he has to take care of the interests of the community from northern Kenya. But at the same time, it is important that you've raised this issue in terms of if the deputy president was actually campaigning against Yatani and Yatani lost, and then the president is appointing him, there's a likelihood that the scenario is playing out in such a manner, just like the Munya issue, all right, where there was a decision made that either Munya was going to play or not play. Now, Munya has found himself outside the cabinet, and many people had expected that there was a promise made to him to be given a slot as a CS. The very interesting scenario that you have in this morning's paper, if you look at the Star, and I think it's page 6,
Of the Star?
Debarl, if you look at page 6, in the Star,
Yes.
what is very interesting, and I find it really fascinating, is I don't know that you've seen it. Yeah, go down. Yeah, exactly. Down
Page
there
6,
on the second paragraph. On
that is page 6.
no page 6. Yes, page 6. Where no split over Uhuru cabinet.
Yes. There
Go
we go.
down now. Go up now. Go up.
Go
up. Yes, go up a bit, and you see the second paragraph right there below Kutuni.
Yes.
The last paragraph says that is Duale talking. Gideon Moi is a small man. He is just a senator. I am even more senior than Gideon in Kenyan politics. He cannot match Ruto. Gideon should note that the roadmap and succession politics in Jubilee are very clear. If you go to, you see that?
Yes, I can say it.
Yeah. To me, out of nowhere, that is a statement which Duale has made. What does it tell you? It tells you that the people who are actually working with the DP are determined to fight whoever they're going to fight, including Gideon Moi. And there's a likelihood for me, if I was the DP's team, I would handle Moi very carefully, because he has the capacity, he has the name in terms of him having, of course, being President Moi's son. He has got his own networks, the KANU networks. And if I was the DP, I would not allow Duale to begin throwing bricks at people like Gideon Moi, because the reality, like David Makali has said, Kenyan politics is very dynamic. It's going to be very, very, very convoluted. It's going to, because we in the opposition are actually waiting for fallout from Jubilee. If the fallout doesn't come, then the reality is that new alliances are going to come up, going towards 2022. And nobody should assume, whether they're in Jubilee or not, that this is going to be a shoo-in for the deputy president to become president of Kenya. The reality is he has to strategically begin to discuss and talk to different people who may not have been even his friends, and figure out how he's going to bring them on board for his agenda of 2022. And the reality is that in politics, we don't have permanent friends or permanent enemies, and I don't think that Duale and company need to zero in on Gideon, beginning to hit at him how he's a nothing and he's a small man and he doesn't have a say. Gideon does have a say in Kenyan politics, particularly Rift Valley politics.
But does he have the goodwill? Let's hear from Isaac Mwaura.
Yes, Debarl, I think...
From his bucket, does he have a goodwill? with the people?
As things currently stand, honestly, the Deputy President has the upper hand. Like in the Senate where I'm in, we only have him and Samuel Pogisho, and then the nominated Senator Abshiro Halake, you know. And so therefore, as at now, Deputy President really has the upper hand in Rift Valley. Of course, it is very well known that Gideon would want to run for the presidency. And of course, that means they will be running, you know, against each other. It means that then the Deputy President and Gideon will have to ask for votes from the same bucket. But that is not new, you know, because by the end of the day, Central Kenya has always produced the highest number of presidential candidates at any given election, even the last one. But people have a way of deciding who they would want to have as their preferred presidential candidate. So I think it's too early, in my opinion. I think really Duale may want to explain further what he actually meant that Gideon is a small man. I personally would want to imagine that you don't underrate anyone in politics, but at the same time, really, the sales as at now are with the Deputy President. He's a second in command in Jubilee, and it is him that the Jubilee, you know, party will have as a presidential candidate in 2022, as at now.
All right, let's hear from Farah Maalim. Good morning.
Good morning to you. Well, becoming the president in this country is not an easy thing. It's not a walk in the park, even if you're a vice president or deputy president before. And even if you have the goodwill of the president, the dynamics are so powerful that there is going to be serious battles. And the man who is going to emerge from there, even Uhuru could, well, he will have all the goodwill for both of them. One is because his father is the one who took Uhuru from outside politics and made him a politician. Uhuru was the blue-eyed son of the first president who, at that time, I think, did not even have an interest in politics. So Moi took him and basically, you couldn't say he made him what he is, but he put him on the tracks and told him, look, it's a fight. You really have to fight it out yourself. And that's exactly what Kenyatta did to Moi. Kenyatta appointed Moi his vice president, but he told him, go and fight it out. I remember somebody telling me, I don't want to mention the name of that person. One time, you know, with all the change, the constitution and that privileged, very powerful and economically strong Gema holdings, the Nyaga Karumes and everybody were fighting him. They wanted to change the constitution so that it does not automatically ascend to the presidency on the death or the demise of Kenyatta. So Moi told him, where Moi in a meeting, somebody who was with him. We have a saying in our language, if you have a big load, must be in Kikuyu language, carry that with a reed, with a banana reed. And if it falls off, you know, because the banana reed is not a very strong, it's not a rope that can drag that thing so that you really have to struggle. Move on. Basically, it means keep on fighting and some of these things, ignore them and drop them, some of these loads, and you really have to fight that. So he supported him. But at the end of the day, it is the metal, the steel that was made of Moi that really got him the presidency. He created his powerful centers of support in the country and isolated what essentially was an unstoppable machine those days, because they had the money, they had the power, they had, other than Kenyatta, almost everybody else except Njonjo and Kibaki, and who were basically on the periphery. They are not pretty much in that very inner Kiambu kitchen cabinet. The Njoroge Mungai was there. You remember all those guys, the late Gichuru. These were all the people who wanted Moi not to succeed Kenyatta once Kenyatta, you know, slips permanently. The same thing right now. Uhuru has a debt to pay to Ruto for what he did for him in 2013 and 2017. But that's not to say that he will carry him on his back all the way and take him to, or in his head, and take him to the presidency. He has also a debt to pay to Gideon. He will put them on an equal footing and give us support to everybody. He's going to take care of Gideon's needs. Cabinet will definitely reflect Gideon men there. It will also reflect Ruto men there. And the guy will sit at the back and say, "Hiya, let's see how you people sort yourselves out in the run-up to 2022." And let me tell you something else about if Uhuru is going to have an influence on 2022, it's clearly going to be a departure from how politics at that level is transacted in mountain region. The moment you go for your second term, in mountain region, you cease to be that powerful factor. Because Kibaki's choice was not Uhuru. Kibaki's choice was Mudavadi. And that's why the likes of the current governor of Brady, what is the name of this young man who was with us in parliament and is now a governor of where? Laikipia. Nderitu Muriithi. Kabando almost lost. There was a whole group, kitchen cabinet, that was close to the Kibaki, who was supposed to support Mudavadi. But Uhuru fought it so hard. And you remember even they went into a pact, the Shetani issue. When Uhuru said, look, but because those people who are around Uhuru, extremely loyal to Uhuru, Kabogo, Abdallah, you know what I mean?
Yes.
I mean, they were that die-hard people who really would do anything for him, and went against him and told him, sorry, you either go for it right now, or we're going to abandon this whole ship and go to Raila Odinga. We'll support Raila Odinga. That's actually what they told him. So Uhuru had no choice. He had to listen to the people who were extremely close to him. I mean, that's something that very few people know. So he came back and said this was the issue of demons. And he came on top. So you can see the thin line between becoming a president and not becoming a president. It was just a matter of that particular choice, that war on that morning. I remember it was on a morning. I went to parliament and I saw this brigade, Kabogo and all the Amina Abdallah and Naomi Shaban and all those people ganging up there and saying, sorry, he has no choice. We are going to force him into it. And they forced him into it. So the point I'm trying to tell you is that nobody is going to have this on a silver platter. Uhuru, what's the name? Ruto has a head start. He will be told, go, kwenda pigana. He will get his own, preferred people. I don't know how many they're going to be in the cabinet, 1 or 2 people, or 3, I don't know how many there'll be. Gideon will also have the same thing. But more than anything else, what Uhuru wants to do is to leave, this is the way I see it myself, he wants to leave a legacy. And that legacy, there are a few pronouncements that he has made right now. I think people had better look at those pronouncements.
Thank you.
The pronouncements he has made, he is going to use this time now to fight corruption. Those were probably carried in the small lines.
Thank you.
At the bottom of it. and because he had said that many times before, and nothing much happened out of it, I think this time is going to be different. And people you're talking about who are going to suffer, according to the way I read it, my reading myself, is not NASA. It's not people who are outside his own government. It's people who are in his government. And I have a feeling a lot of the people who will be dropped are dropped because of things to do with ethics. So let us see. The man has to have his clean hand, his free hand. And of course, those of us who are in the opposition also will be looking at it. We're going to look at our fortunes on the basis of how that is crafted to see whether, we still have another uphill task come 2022, because the divide will still be there, let me tell you. Or if in the process between now and 2022, the shiftings of the ground will be so heavy that serious unexpected things can happen. But whatever it is, Gideon will have to fight his wars. Ruto will have to fight his wars. The man who's and we will also fight our wars in trying to make sure that Jubilee does not have another shot at or rather doesn't get it one more time. And let's see. And then there's going to be also shiftings of alliances back and forth. And this is the nature of politics.
Thank you. All right.